May the 10th, 2024. Hope everybody's having a great day today. It is finally starting to, the weather's finally starting to change here in South Carolina. We have had rain the past few days. It rained all day yesterday, all night last night, and all morning this morning. And it's just been non-stop rain. Which is good. We needed the rain, that's for sure. But it's time for a break, and it looks like we finally have gotten one. I cannot stand when it is just rainy all the time. It's just so depressing. I really miss the sun, and it's finally coming back out. So I'm in a much better mood today, and got a bunch of stuff planned this weekend. We're going to be going to my kids' games tomorrow, and we've got some stuff to do on Sunday. I'm going to take a look at tomorrow and see what we're looking like time-wise, if I'll be able to squeeze in a live tomorrow. I'm not sure. Keep an eye out for that. I know that our games are like 11 and 1 or something, and if I have time tomorrow, I might try to squeeze in live. I don't know. If not, I'll do one at some point this week. Not sure what day yet, but with my kids and their sports schedule that they have going on, I've had a hard time fitting lives in on Saturday again. I might have to start doing them on Fridays or something. I don't know if that would work out for everybody if I did lives on Friday, but it'd probably be better for me to do them because I don't think that we have a lot of games on Fridays, and my kids are always in schools on Fridays right now until they get out for the summer. But I could probably fit them in like midday or something like that on Friday. I don't know. It's just a thought. But until my kids get done with their sports, Saturdays are just kind of tough for me now. It was fine whenever my wife was still in tax season, but I don't know. I'll just have to take a look at the schedule and see what, another date night. But that might work better for now. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about something that I found really interesting in it. Today's video stems from a conversation that I was having with my wife last night, and I don't remember the context of the conversation that we were having yesterday, but we got to a point in the conversation, and we talk often about my sobriety, about my illnesses. I mean, it's just a topic of conversation. It could be, hey, how are you looking on your blood pressure medication or your blood thinners or something, and something will come up a lot of times. And like I said, I don't remember the context of the conversation yesterday, but somehow or another we got on the fact of my sobriety, and my wife said, I don't worry about your sobriety anymore. And she said, I never worried about coming home and finding you, drunk or something like that. And I looked at her and I said, if you knew what went through my mind on a daily basis, I think that you would worry. Which I'm not saying that I'm in any fear of relapse. I'm not going to relapse. It's not the case. But, like I've talked about on this channel over and over again, my mind does go into places that, I have no control over it. I mean, it just happens. And I think the point of what I'm getting to for today's video is that, my wife said, I don't worry about your sobriety. And when I told her, if you knew what went through my mind daily, you would worry. And it was just a conversation, but what it made me think about is that people who are not alcoholics or addicts will never really quite understand what it's like to be an addict. Because our minds work a certain way, and it's really hard to put my finger on exactly what it is because there's a whole lot of stuff that's involved in it. And one of the things that's really involved in an addict's mind is that constant chasing the dragon, the constant wanting to change our perception of reality, wanting to get that euphoric feeling, just wanting to feel more relaxed. Because I think a lot of us, that suffered with AUD, I think we're like high-strung people a lot of times, very anxious people. We worry a lot. I just think there's a lot of factors that kind of bring us all together, because at the end of the day, we are more alike than we are different when it comes to addicts and alcoholics. I mean, if you just take all of us together and you just took this whole group and, we had a list of like 100 questions, I mean, we would be so closely similar with each other in the way that we think, that I think it would blow most people away. Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of us have suffered from, childhood trauma, or, whatever it may be. And, a lot of us have anxiety problems, depression, and we're trying to mask those feelings. I think we're searching for that constant feeling of being happy. Because I know that for a majority of my life, I've just been kind of like, I was always really high strung when I was a drinker, but now that I don't drink anymore, I'm more even keel now. And, I'm just a little bit more laid back than I used to be back then, but I'm not as, I guess I don't want to make this sound bad, because I'm happy, but I guess I don't have the euphoric feeling as much anymore. And I think that a lot of times that my mind will kind of switch to thinking about that euphoric feeling. And that's, going back to what I was discussing just a few minutes ago, that, people that are normal, that don't have an addiction problem, I just don't think that they'll ever quite understand what goes on in our heads. And like I said, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because that's good, that they don't have to think in that manner. But it's almost like, I was thinking about this analogy earlier. It's like you've opened a door and you can never close it back. And I was thinking about that right before, because I've tried to film this video a couple times already. And one of the first videos I tried to record, I was talking about, opening up that door that you can't close. And I wish that I had never, ever touched alcohol, now looking back. Because I would never know what that feeling was like. You can't miss something that you don't know. And, you'll never be able to forget that feeling that you got, I guess is the point that I'm trying to get to. And, and what we're doing is constantly chasing that feeling all the time. It's this, constant chase. And I was talking about this the other day, about, where we try to get to that point, that happy medium, where, when we drink, we get to that really happy place, and we don't stay there for very long. There's the build up to it. We're there, and then we always end up over drinking for whatever reason. I guess we feel like, if 5 is good, then 20 is great. And we get to that happy medium, and then we just always take it too far, or at least I know I did. And I would always get to that point where I was just so intoxicated, I didn't know what was going on. Like I said, I blacked out every single time, because I was always chasing the dragon. And I just don't think that people that have never had an addiction problem will ever quite really understand what that feeling is like, to constantly chase that. Because we do, and we will basically give up anything to get to that point. We will lie, cheat, and steal to get to where we need to be when we're not feeling that way. And we will do what we have to do to get intoxicated again. And just thinking about that, and how much of a grasp that alcohol had on me at one point in time, it just bothers me to think about that, because it had such a grasp on my life, and I wanted so badly to get away from it, and I just could not escape it. I tried so many times, and I just could not get away. And I had so many people talk to me and tell me that I needed to quit and all this kind of stuff, and 90% of those people that were talking to me and telling me I need to stop, they didn't know what it was like to deal with an addiction, so they didn't really know how to help me. They didn't really know what to say to me, and and even me, myself, being in the situation that I'm in, I don't know what the magic words are or what the magic key is to stopping this problem. But I do know that, talking about the way that we feel, finding a hobby or something to occupy our time, which I feel like is one of the most important things about staying sober. I cannot say it enough. That just staying busy, because the day goes by so quick. You get up in the morning, you start doing something, whatever, you go to work, you come home from work, and you just stay busy. If you fall right back into the same patterns that we had when we were drinking, it's so hard to escape them. We have to change what we did on a daily basis, whether it be, finding something to occupy our time when we come home, avoiding the places that we used to go to when we did drink, not stopping by that store that we always stopped at or that bar that we used to stop at. And I know how tough that can be to drive by those places and to just look straight and not go in there. Because, for one, if you were the type of person hung out in the bar, your friends are all in there. And, you get that feeling of missing out. And then on top of it as well, there's this feeling that you're never going to have any fun if you stop. Because we attach so many fun things to drinking or using or whatever it is, because we tend to do a lot of stuff when we are using. And then all these activities get attached to our usage, and then when we want to, stop using that substance, whatever it may be, we want to do something that could occupy our time, but now we have taken all the stuff that we would use to occupy our time and associate it with our usage, and we're kind of lost. I know for myself, at least that's the way I felt, with my kayaking or whatever. I always drank when I kayaked. And to think about going kayaking now, not being able to drink on the river, there's just no way that I could do it. I don't think I could get back on there again, because it's just, there's too much attachment to the drinking associated with my kayaking that even if I was well enough to get back out there again, I just don't think I could ever do it again. It would be way too much of a trigger for me to go out there and do that, because I drank every single time I went out, and I used it as a method to help reduce my fear, especially when I was going over big stuff. I would have a couple beers at the top of some big waterfall and just go right over the top of it. Would I have done that if I was sober? Probably not. So I used alcohol as a means to help me get over my fears, my anxieties, especially in those kinds of moments. And I don't think that sober me would do those kinds of stunts ever again, because I know what it entails. I know how dangerous it is, and I think the only way that I ever did that stuff is because I was, buzzed up, or I never really was super intoxicated when I kayaked, but I would have a really good buzz, and I did a lot of crazy things when I was buzzed up. But back to what I was saying, and this goes for the people, that, you're out there right now, and you've got family members that are speaking to you and telling you, that they want you to get sober and all that kind of stuff, and they just, they don't quite understand the position that you're in. But I can tell you that I do, and, that's why I'm here every single day doing these videos, is to let you know that you're not alone, and that we all struggle. And there are some people out there who can get away from it, forget about it. I'm unfortunately not one of those people. It still crosses my mind. I still think about it from time to time. For me, it's a daily struggle. I have to be diligent and protect my sobriety daily. And I know good and well that if I let my guard down, that I could slip up so easily, and I just don't want to go back down that path ever again. One of the things, I feel like I almost have, somewhat of an advantage in my sobriety, because I got so sick. It really shook me up and scared me really badly, and I know what my drinking will lead to, and to think of that going back and dealing with the pain that I suffered through and the ascites and all that stuff, I remember just praying that the ascites would go away. I just wanted to feel somewhat normal. And when the ascites finally dissipated, and then it came back again, and then it dissipated again and came back again, and then, you know, I'm going on now a year since I've had ascites, and you know, sometimes I forget about that, and I have to remind myself how lucky I am to be able to walk around daily life without ascites right now. Because there was a moment when that's all I wanted, was just for that fluid to get off of my belly. It was so uncomfortable. I was so embarrassed because I was walking around with so much fluid on my stomach. I just wanted to look like a normal person. And here I am. You know, I don't have the ascites right now. And like I said, I often have to remind myself how lucky, how grateful I need to be about that fact. And I am. And whenever I think back on that, I just think of the times that I remember this one time I had to go back to the doctor. I just had my test procedure that January, and it had failed. And I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I got out of the hospital, and a week later, after getting out of the hospital, the ascites started to come back. I had ascites from that September all the way through the January, and the fluid finally started coming off mid-January of that year, and then I had my surgery at the end of January. I had basically all the fluid off of my belly at that point. And then after the surgery, I guess when they went in there and irritated my liver and all that stuff, the ascites came back about a week later, and I had to go to my GI doctor that day. And I was too sick to drive myself. My wife had to come home to pick me up, and I was home that morning. And you know, the ascites had gotten so bad I had to lay in a bathtub. I could not stand up in a shower because it was just too uncomfortable. And I remember getting my clothes off and standing in front of the mirror about to get into the tub and looking at my stomach, and I just started crying because, you know, I thought that I was over that for a little bit, and I wasn't. And you know, every time that I get, you know, a weird thought, or you know, something comes up in my head or whatever, I often reflect back to that moment and think about, you know, what I dealt with during that period of time. And I just never want to go back to that ever again. Will that day come again? It most likely will. But I'm going to do everything in my power to prevent that from reoccurring, because I just don't want to go back to it. I mean, that was such a bad period, and it's just not worth it in the end. But anyway, guys, that's what I wanted to discuss today. You know, the fact that I just don't think that people that aren't addicts or alcoholics will ever really quite understand and be able to put themselves completely in our shoes to get a full grasp on how our minds work. And but I completely understand how the mind works of an alcoholic and addict. And like I said, that's why I'm here every single day talking with you guys. You know, I just want to give constant reminders of why we need to stay on our sobriety journey and continue pushing forward, and you know, not go back to using ever again, because it's just not a good life. But anyway, guys, like I said, I'm gonna see what tomorrow's looking like as far as doing a live. I don't think we're gonna have time for me to do one. I'll probably just do a regular video as normal. But I will take a look at next week doing one. Let me know if Friday works out for everybody. I think that would be the best day for me to do one. I really want to do one once a week, but I think Friday's going to be the best day now. Let me know if that works for you guys. It'll probably be somewhere like midday on Friday, but that's what I'm thinking is probably going to be the best for me in order to do one and not have to get on and jump off within 30 minutes or something. But anyway, guys, I hope y'all have a wonderful day today. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I love you guys so much, and we're going into the weekend. It's Friday. Remember to stay sober out there, guys. It's just not worth it at the end of the day. It really isn't. And if you guys need anything, let me know. Any video ideas or whatever, I'm here, and I'd be happy to do it for you. So with that said, I love you all, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.